Do you get to keep whatever you find?
The treasure trove license says that the government gets 10%, except that they get all artifacts. And an artifact is virtually anything. Artifact means man-made.
A hunter who only looks in one spot eventually runs out of luck, and Marty Lagina finally reached that point. For over a decade, the focus stayed on the money pit, but a series of technical failures forced a total restart. Instead of just digging deeper, the team is now spreading out across the entire island to map a hidden network of clues. This new plan is about working smarter by using data instead of just dirt, proving that the most valuable secrets might be hiding in plain sight. Classic search zones. Marty Lagina has always been a man of logic and engineering. For years, his strategy was simple: find the spot where the original treasure was lost and dig until the ground gave it up.
I knew it was interesting, I knew we'd been interested, but I really didn't feel it would have the sort of worldwide appeal.
This led to the massive operations in the Money Pit area, specifically targeting the H8 shaft and Smith's Cove. The team spent millions of dollars on enormous steel caissons, some of them weighing several tons, to hold back the earth and water. They were convinced that if they could just get deep enough, the Chappelle Vault or the treasure of the Knights Templar would appear. However, the ground of Oak Island is notoriously unstable. Every time they pushed deeper, they were met with collapses and flooding that seemed almost intentional. This older strategy was built on the legends of the past. The stories told of a massive pit with oak platforms every 10 feet, and for a long time Marty Lagina followed that blueprint. The work at Smith's Cove was a perfect example of this heavy-handed approach. They built a massive cofferdam to hold back the ocean, spending a fortune to see what was beneath the waves. They found the famous U-shaped structure and the finger drains, but the treasure remained out of reach. It was a strategy of attrition where the team tried to outspend and outwork the mystery. Even as recently as Season 12, the focus remained on these high-profile excavations. The episodes from that time show a team that was obsessed with the vault. They were running caissons during operations like Boots on the Ground and Family Ties, trying to recover artifacts from depths of over 150 feet. But the results were always the same: bits of wood, small pieces of parchment, and a lot of mud. The brute force was not working, and the costs were mounting in both time and money. Marty Lagina is a practical man, and even he could see that the island was winning this particular battle. One of the most overlooked aspects of this period was the toll it took on the equipment. The drills would break, the caissons would get stuck, and the water would always find a way back in. It was as if the original builders had created a trap that was still functioning perfectly after centuries. Marty Lagina started to realize that the money pit might be a distraction or a place where the treasure used to be, rather than where it's now. This realization was the first crack in the old foundation of their plan. The shift did not happen overnight, but the signs were there. The team began to look at the island as a whole, rather than just a single point on a map. They started to wonder if the treasure was spread out, or if the money pit was just one part of a much larger puzzle. This was the beginning of a more disciplined and diverse search that would eventually take them to the far corners of the island. There are still many rumors in the air, but the transition to a new way of thinking was undeniable. The massive drills are moving because the true target might be hiding in a different corner. Evidence beyond pits. The newer strategy appears much more diversified. Season 13 still includes serious money pit work, with episodes like So Close Yet Sonar and The Shining, but the team is no longer putting all their eggs in one basket. They are spending major time on Lot 5 and Lot 8, looking for medieval-era artifacts and possible religious implications. In other words, the search now looks less like a plan to dig one famous spot until it gives up treasure, and more like a mission to follow whichever evidence cluster is getting stronger. Nobody expected this to happen, but the team is finding more on the surface than they ever found in the depths. On Lot 5, they discovered a circular stone structure that could date back centuries.
The shaft represents in terms of furthering our understanding in the money pit.
This site is not just a random pile of rocks. It appears to be a carefully constructed feature that suggests someone was living on the island long before the treasure hunt began. By focusing on these archaeological sites, Marty Lagina is building a timeline of the island's history. This timeline is helping them understand who might have buried the treasure and why they chose such a complex location. It's not that simple though, because every new discovery leads to 10 more questions. On Lot 8, the team found a lead seal that points to a possible connection with the 14th century. This matches the lead cross found years ago, reinforcing the theory that the Knights Templar or another ancient group was active on the island. Using them to map out a broader search area, instead of just drilling vertical holes, they are now conducting wide-scale metal detecting and soil sampling across the entire island. The swamp is another area where the strategy has shifted. For a long time, the swamp was seen as a secondary target, but now it's a primary focus. The team has found evidence of a stone roadway and what looks like a wharf. These structures suggest a massive logistics operation was once underway here. Marty Lagina is using core samples to determine the age of the wood and the stones, trying to prove that the swamp is an artificial feature. If the swamp was man-made, it could have been used to hide a ship full of treasure. Basically, the search has become more about connecting the dots than just finding the gold. Marty Lagina is looking for the how and the who just as much as the what. This archaeological approach is providing a wealth of information that was previously ignored. It's a slower process, but it's one that provides much more certainty. The team is no longer just guessing where to dig, they are following a trail of breadcrumbs that has been laid out over hundreds of years. A trail of ancient lead might lead straight to the heart of the vault itself. Heavy machinery stalls. The clearest reason Marty Lagina changed tactics is that the old approach kept running into physical limits. Earlier episode descriptions repeatedly mentioned collapses and frightening developments where operations were threatened. The team was often forced into a new approach at the money pit because the ground simply would not hold. This strongly suggests that Marty's strategy had to evolve because brute force excavation in the traditional target zones kept producing engineering problems instead of final answers. When you are drilling down over 160 feet, the pressure from the surrounding earth and water is immense. The team has dealt with massive sinkholes and ground instability that made it dangerous for the crew to continue. Marty Lagina, being an engineer by trade, understands the risks of working in these conditions. He knows that no treasure is worth a human life, and the island seems to have a way of defending itself. Every time they got close to a target, the ground would shift or a flood tunnel would trigger, filling the hole with seawater. It's not that simple though, because the team has access to the best technology in the world. They have used massive oscillators and high-capacity pumps, but even these tools have their limits. The wood and debris from previous searchers have created a chaotic underground environment. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack where the haystack is constantly moving. Marty Lagina saw that they were spinning their wheels in the money pit and decided it was time to change the game. Nobody expected this to happen, but the engineering failures actually provided valuable data. They showed the team where the ground was most disturbed and where the original structures might still be intact. This led them to look at the perimeter of the money pit rather than the center. By drilling smaller, more precise holes, they are able to sample the ground without causing a massive collapse. It's a surgical approach compared to the sledgehammer they were using before. The second likely reason for the change is that new evidence outside the classic money pit corridor became too important to ignore. Season 13 repeatedly highlights ancient discoveries on Lot 5 and medieval-era artifacts on Lot 8. That pattern suggests the team may now believe the best path to solving the mystery is not just digging deeper in one place, but understanding how multiple locations connect. Marty Lagina is now looking for the missing link that ties the entire island together. The ground is finally speaking, and it's telling a story much older than gold. Digital treasure hunting. Marty Lagina has a more practical, evidence-first mindset than many of the searchers who came before him. One older interview thread tied to Marty and Craig Tester pushed back on some long-running assumptions, including the idea of man-made flood tunnels. Marty suggested that geology might have ruled some of those out, which shows he is not afraid to challenge the island's mythology. This matters because it supports the idea that his instincts are more engineering and evidence-driven than story-driven. As the hunt matured, that mindset pushed him away from older legend-first assumptions. Modern hunting plans. Fans may see this shift in two different ways. Some may think Marty Lagina changed tactics because the old money pit first plan stopped working and he was getting desperate. Others may see it as a sign that the team is finally building a smarter, more complete map of the mystery. Both readings fit the show's recent structure better than the idea that he is simply repeating the same playbook year after year. It's clear that the team is evolving as they learn more about the island's complex past. The mystery of Oak Island has always been about more than just gold. It's about a group of people who went to incredible lengths to hide something valuable. By broadening the search, Marty Lagina is honoring that complexity. He is looking for the wharf where the treasure was unloaded, the roadway where it was transported, and the structures where the people lived. This unified theory of the island is much more compelling than the idea of a single buried chest. There are still many rumors in the air about what the team has actually found in the most recent seasons. Some fans believe they have already discovered the vault and are just waiting for the right time to reveal it. Others think the change in strategy is a sign that they are moving away from the treasure hunt altogether and focusing on a historical documentary. But Marty Lagina's actions suggest otherwise. He is still spending millions of dollars and bringing in massive equipment. You don't do that unless you are convinced there is a payoff. Nobody expected this to happen, but the search has become a global phenomenon. People from all over the world are watching to see if the Lagina brothers can succeed where so many others have failed. The shift in strategy has kept the show fresh and exciting, providing new mysteries to solve every season. It's a masterclass in how to manage a long-term investigation. Marty Lagina has proven that he is a leader who can adapt to changing circumstances. Does Marty Lagina finally have the secret map, or is he just following the dirt? Let us know your best theories in the comments below. If you think this shift is big, you've got to see our next video.